Hi, and welcome back. In this lecture, we're going to talk about key insight 1, the rise of social commerce and voice commerce. Well, what is social commerce? Social commerce is basically the use of social media networks like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok to perform e commerce, which is basically the buying and selling of products and services. So, the main part is it includes things like customer ratings, reviews, social shopping tools, online forums and groups, communities, and things like social media advertising. So, you can do a lot of innovative things like you can invite the user to vote on different types of products and styles, and also using things like Kickstarter, which is a website for user generated e-commerce. So you can be a part of the process. You can fund and get shares, get free products and things like that on Kickstarter. So community engaged development is there. Then you offer things like personalized buy options are also there. And then a key thing is they apply a lot of large and striking graphics to attract the viewers. So in a negative way, it can be termed as clickbait. So basically encouraging the user to browse and click the videos, click the products and things like that. Then use videos to showcase the products in use and from multiple angles. So you have seen enough and more reviews on YouTube when you want to buy a certain product. Maybe it's a smartphone or a laptop or any other sort of product. Then it's also encouraging users to submit their own photos, commentaries, and feedback. So you can buy products, then share those pictures and write your own review, what you liked and what you didn't like. And also, you can directly contact the company. If it's a negative review, you can directly contact the company's social media channels and tell them about the issue. And if you're a business, you can directly engage with the customer. And if the customer leaves a negative review, it's very important that you manage it properly rather than it being a public relation mess. Then there's things like influencer marketing, which we're going to talk about in our next lecture, where you use people who can influence, who have a lot of followers on social media to promote your brand and business and product and services. Then there's things like linking directly to the checkout or shopping cart. So now we have things like third-party logins where you can use your Facebook account, Google account, or Apple account to log in to different e-commerce websites and access their services. So these companies share data like your profile, interest, contact information, and all those sorts of things. So the e-commerce business can also benefit by getting an accurate picture of your interests and preferences are. Then you can do things like offer promotions or giveaways to users who share your product on their feed and stories and things like that. So we've seen social media promos run. So if you share, tag friends, and also share it on your stories and things like that, you can have giveaways and competition to increase your followers as well as create engaging followers as well. Now, let's look at the number of social commerce buyers worldwide in comparison to the number of internet users. So, China takes a lead because they have around 46.4% of the internet users using social commerce to purchase their products and services. If you take the United States, it's around 35.9, Australia around 30.3, Canada around 26%, Russia 26%, Brazil 25.4%, and then we have countries like the United Kingdom 23.7%, France coming next 22.9%, and then Italy 22.7, Spain 21.5, Mexico 21.3, Germany 18.4%, and finally Japan with 17.6% of the internet users using social commerce to buy products and services. Then we look at a few key statistics. So forecasted social commerce sales value in 2021 would be around 36.6 billion US dollars, and around 87% of the users turn to social media for help on making a decision whether to buy a product or service. So they value the authenticity of social media and also the transparency of social media because people are able to express openly to a greater extent, and also they can really understand on how companies and brands interact with people on social media, with customers on social media, and whether they give a good after sales service and whether they are able to address any negative comments properly and things like that as well. Then if you look at the overall e-commerce sales happening online, around 4% is coming from social commerce. Then we have around 23% of online consumers are influenced by social media recommendations. And the expected compound annual growth rate, or what we call CAGR, from 2021 to 2028 is expected to be around 28.4%. for social commerce. And then around 71% of the online shoppers recommend the brands they bought on social media, which is suggesting that they tend to trust recommendations, reviews, and ratings on social media. Then let's go on to voice commerce. So voice commerce basically allows users to purchase products and services using voice-enabled smart assistants like Alexa from Amazon, Google Assistant from Google, and Siri from Apple. So you have two pictures here, the Amazon Echo Dot and the Google Home Mini, who uses voice assistants. So most of these assistants have something called a skill development component. So most of these voice assistants have a skill component in them. So you can use the skill development component and make your own skills, and businesses can really take the maximum advantage of this by developing their own skills and integrating their products and services to the skill so that it's very fun to use and also interactive. Plus, it brings revenue to the business using these voice assistants. So it's estimated that by around 2023, around 19.4 billion is forecasted as the e-commerce transaction value using these smart voice assistants. So if you look at voice commerce in general, it's suitable for things like reordering because most of these devices don't have a visual input. And then assuming that smart agents learn from order history and things like that, and someday will be able to manage within a limited budget. Let's say you allocate $100 for the voice assistant for each month. So they can only order up to $100. So there's a huge cap placed in the voice assistant. So in case your child or someone unauthorized orders your food or groceries and spends the amount. And this will also open up opportunities for businesses to really focus on cutting down what exactly they can offer during the voice commerce interactions, because you need to be very, very specific when it comes to ordering on voice commerce. So you can order things like, hey, Alexa, get me detergent for next week. So Alexa will go to the order history and figure out what's the detergent type that this person is using, and then from where to order. So it will understand based on the order history what and where to order, and it might ask for the quantity, or if it's aware of the weekly quantity of detergent, then it will decide, okay, this is to order, and then give the confirmation to the user, and user will just have to say confirm to order. Then Alexa will connect to the supplier's portal or supplier's APIs or backends and then make the necessary arrangements for the order. Then you will either get an email confirmation or a confirmation within the app saying this is what you have ordered in this quantity and from this supplier, and with the order number reference as well, so that you would have a visual confirmation of what you ordered. And then let's look at a few advantages and disadvantages of using voice commerce. So if you look at from a customer's perspective, it's very convenient because you can just say things without browsing, without logging in. You can just say and you can get it ordered. And also ratings and review convenience. So you can just say you give 5 stars and this was the feedback. The product was great. It had very good functionality. It's durable. The quality was great and things like that, rather than typing your entire review. And also, you can better understand customer data from a business perspective. So you can really understand what customers are ordering and how convenient it is for them. And you can get their honest feedback on your products and service offerings and improve the business. And then you have things like opportunities for growth and engagement. So you can use the skill development platform and build skills using that skill development program, and also find new innovative ways of interacting with the customer and create more channels or more potential streams of revenue for your business. So what are the negatives of it, or what are the disadvantages of voice commerce? The main one is the lack of visual feedback. In most cases, some devices or some smart assistants have a screen or a display so they can show what's being bought. And also, it's very hard for things like shoes and apparel because you can't show what the shoe would look like or what the clothing would look like. So it's not practical in most sense to make a whole new purchase. So if you want to buy a brand new t-shirt or a pair of pants, it's not practical because this is very good for reoccurring grocery items. So things like eggs, maybe pet food, and things like that. Then challenges in understanding accents and other regional dialects and understanding the context. So this is an area that virtual assistants are really struggling with, but with the rapid advancement of things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and things like deep learning, they are able to understand the context most of the time but in some cases they might struggle with things like regional accents and other dialects. Then there's privacy and security concerns because you don't know whether it's listening to you, even if it's off, and even if the mic button is muted. But if you really think about it, it's always listening to you for the command, hey Siri, or hey Alexa, or hey Google. So are you really comfortable with sharing your data, your voice data, or what you're talking about with those voice assistant manufacturers or voice assistant owning companies? Then we have things like onboarding new customers via voice commerce is really challenging because it's really hard to build a relationship or build a connection of some sort because it's like someone randomly calling your phone and just highlighting about the brand. Then you can ask questions. But if the brand is a good brand, or if you're very familiar with the brand or well established and reputed brand, there's a good chance of you connecting with the brand via voice commerce. But if you're a brand that's new to the business or if you're not that familiar, so it's really hard to make a connection and get the customers on board through voice commerce. Then there's things like identity theft. So how can you prevent that sort of thing? So how can you ensure that all the brands are authentic, or what's the verifying mechanism and things like that? There's that concern as well when it comes to voice commerce. Well, that's about it for Key Insight 1, the rise of social commerce and voice commerce. I'll see you on another lecture.